Hey guys, Lord here, back again with another action figure review of quite possibly the most 50-50 2-pack in Overlord Productions history. Because today we're going to be looking at quite possibly one of the best figures of the year and one of the absolute worst figures of the year. And of course I am referring to the DC Multiverse, a Batman versus Spawn 2-pack. Is it versus? I really don't give a crap. Brought to us by the fine folks over at McFarlane Toys. Now, I am 110% torn on this 2-pack. I want to like it. I want to like it a lot. In fact, about 50% of it I do like quite a bit. But the other half is just, why? So, without further ado, let's cut right to the chase and get into the meat and taters of this review. Starting off with the accessories. And you don't get one, but you get two collectible trading cards. One of Batman, one of Spawn. I'm pretty sure this is the one that comes with this 2-pack for Batman. This is the only Spawn card we've ever gotten, so I know I didn't louse that up. It said there are bios on the back. Look at that, the Spawn one's black on the back. That's pretty cool. But you can pause and read at your own leisure, but long story short, Batman became Batman because his parents died, and Spawn became Spawn because he died and made a deal with the devil, and came back as a pretty cool looking Venom ripoff with a cape. So, there you go. If I just offended you, I don't care. So, in the way of Spawn's accessories, you know, actual useful, quote-unquote, accessories, he gets this big arse Buster Sword, which is pretty sick. And I went to good old Spirit Halloween with my Aunt Tammy, my beloved Aunt Tammy, a couple of weeks ago. And I saw a sword that kind of looked like this. It was freaking humongonormous. And it's a little gummy. A little bit. I don't think it's too bad. I don't think it's as cool as the one that came with the Kickstarter Spawn, but I think it's pretty solid. I like it. A weird end, though. It's like square with this hook thing. What is that? Looks like a bottle opener. And as far as Batman goes, you get a pretty comically oversized Batarang for a pretty comically oversized Batman. If I could talk here. As well as a pair of arthritis open hands. They're back. We just did the vampire figures. They didn't have any of that. They had really cool claw hands that didn't look like they would cause intense pain in their later years. But oh boy, do we got the arthritis looking hands back. Woohoo! That said, the Batarang does fit quite nicely in these hands. So I guess they're good for something. Other than not matching the hands he's got on him. Because they have completely different textures on the back. The hands on them kind of have little knuckle studs. These do not. Talk about inconsistent. And incompetence. So, before we do that, there is one other thing they come with. This unpainted skull thing. I mean, cool, I guess. And it's got a little slit on the back for this big old card here. I mean, sure. I would have rather just gotten like a display base with some pegs on it or something. I can't get the card in here. That's nice. There we go. It's a little better. But yeah, it's something like that. Alright? Nobody cares about this crap. This is junk thrown in the box as far as I'm concerned. And by the way, this costs $50. So, you know, instead of getting, I don't know, an unmasked head for Spawn, because we still haven't got one of those, unless you bought the Kickstarter Spawn, which those aren't compatible because they have the weird neck stump on them. That's the only unmasked Spawn heads we got in this modern era of Spawn figures. Hello! It would have also been nice to get an extra head for Batman. One that doesn't look like he's constipated and taking a fat crap. And, I don't know, maybe an axe for Spawn would have been cool. But we do get this amazing backdrop thingy with no paint on it. So, you know, take that for what it's worth. Moving this unholy abomination out of the way, so we can take a look at the good unholy abomination. I mean, he is a hell spawn after all. Spawn comes with his own unique figure stand with a big white Spawn logo on it. So that's pretty cool. And for those of you not in the know, this is 100% reuse of this guy right here. This is the Throne Spawn. He was a deluxe release in the Spawn Universe line. This is the same exact figure from the head to the toe. From head to toe, whatever you want to call it, with a cape. A really nice cape. And honestly, a pretty solid color palette. I like the more muted white. It's almost a gray. In fact, pretty much is gray. And I think some of the joints on this version are a little bit better. Probably because of the cape. He needs tighter joints for that. What can I say? But as far as articulation goes, his head is on a double ball peg that works really well. It's a good example of those types of joints. It does have a tilt. Can rotate the hair out of my eyes here. His shoulders are locked. Good luck with that. I think this one moves out one notch. Is kind of loose, but not floppy. At least not for me. So if you luck out and get one that's tight, good for you, buddy. But unless you heat this cape off and pop it off, you can't really move the arms too much. He does have a bicep swivel. That works fine. It's nice and tight. He does have double jointed elbow, which works fine. I will say this gauntlet not being painted on the underside again does kind of suck. I would have taken the paint right here over that skull cardboard backdrop display thing. If I'm being quite honest, I would have just taken a hit of red paint here over that. Because other than that one spot right here, and I think there's a couple spots on Batman that could use a little more paint. This Spawn is probably the best Spawn figure with the modern aesthetic we've ever gotten. So, you know, big gauntlet, big boot, that Spawn. I know a lot of people still like the 10th anniversary Spawn, but that's a different costume, so I'm not going to count that here. But as far as, you know, with the gauntlet and the boot in the equation, yeah, I think this is the best one. Other than the Throne Spawn, which is the same thing. A little bit more customizable because he doesn't have a cape glued onto him at all times. That said, he does have the ball hinge wrists. They get a lot of range, all things considered. So you can hinge them up and down. You can rotate them at the top and the bottom. He's got trigger fingers, but no guns. You are going to get guns in this 2-pack. Unfortunately, it is a DC 2-pack. Now, he does have all the torso articulation. I don't want mine to get loose. And quite frankly, with the cape, I don't think you can get much out of that anyways. You get a little bit. And then it just kind of drops back. So, just shifting that back into place so it doesn't get loose. He does have a waist twist. It works fine. It's like this is not the first time I've adjusted this either. To not be floppy. But it is a little bit on the flop side. A little teeny bit. Just a tiny bit, but not horrible. I mean, right now it's doing okay. It's not flopping all over the place. His legs kick forward, you kick down, you kick out. He does have a bit of a thigh quiver in there. Actually, quite a bit. He's got a double knee. If I can get it to bend here. There we go. Not terrible looking on the knee. He doesn't have the Cliffs of Dover going on. He does have that a little bit on the elbows, but not so much on the knees. Then he does have the ball hinge in the ankle. Right there. Kind of tight, but it does rotate. It does hinge. A little loose on the hinge. I did actually swap his foot out for the one that came with Throne Spawn, because the toe joint was tighter on this foot. Just is. I was able to heat up the other one and stiffen it a little bit, but this one locks into place in neutral, so I do prefer that. And then he does have a rocker there, but again, pretty tight if you don't use heat. But this Spawn is sick. I love this thing. I think he's fantastic. He can hold his sword pretty well too. Let me get that in his hand. But this Spawn is what's saving this 2-pack, to tell you the very least, because we are about to get to the other half of the 2-pack that's not so good. But there he is with his sword. Looking awesome. I like this Spawn a lot. I think he's awesome. He's fan-freaking-tastic. Could have used an unmasked head as an extra, but for what it is, he also stands really well. Like, you don't gotta worry about him falling over, like, at all. But for what it is, he is really, really solid. Now we got this turd. And for those of you, first of all, let's get the stand, whoop-de-doo. And for those of you who have been saying that I've been a little bit too PG lately, get ready for this, because this guy's on the godforsaken, god-awful, unholy abomination of nature, Year 2 Batman body. And I gotta tell ya, fuck this body. Fuck it up and down and on its face. Smack it upside the head with a fucking closet stick, because I can't stand this fucking body. God dang it, man. This thing sucks. Oh, man. And I rehearsed that bit, by the way. So I hope you're happy. I hope that made up for a month of PG reviews, because this thing freaking sucks. And I don't even have a lot of quality control issues with it. It's just this body just blows. It's too freaking big. He's bigger than Spawn, okay? Like, where'd I put him? He's taller than Spawn. Why? Why? They have Batman bodies shorter than Spawn. I don't... Why was it this the Nightfall body? I don't understand it. But, just for kicks and giggles, here's another Year 2 Batman body. Now, I will say, if you could kit bash these two, you'd probably get a pretty cool looking figure, but he's too freaking big. Batman is not freaking, Bane, last I checked. And this figure is like small Bane sized, you know, before he pumps himself full of the juice there. So I just don't understand why they keep using this body. This thing sucks. I never liked it on the Three Jokers Batman. I didn't like it with the Hush Batman, the Vampire Batman. I do not like it here. It's too freaking big. And quite frankly, it's dated as heck compared to the Batmans we've gotten both before and since this figure. Come on, man. The Rebirth Batman's never been reused, and that's an infinitely better body than this. That said, you can't even turn his freaking head. Like, I don't know if that's turning or not. Feels like it is, but it's really stiff. And I've heated this thing more than once. You can't really look up and down either. I'll tell you what's a good Batman body. The McFarlane style Batman. That was a Walmart exclusive. That later became a fan channel exclusive. That was a decent Batman body. I would have much rather have had an updated version of that for this 2-pack. But this body is just butts on this figure, at least. As far as the shoulders go, they do rotate forward and back. You do get a little bit better posability out of them than you do with Spawn, but not by a lot, because this cape is freaking thick as heck and weighs almost more than the figure does. He's got a bicep twist that works okay. He's got double elbow. It does work alright. It doesn't look terrible from the top, but from the bottom it's pretty bad. I will say, it looks like one of his spikes isn't painted on some of these. I don't notice it, really. But, I guess that's a thing. So they obviously didn't learn their lesson from the Hush 2-pack. I see. He does have ball hinge wrists, with the swivel on the top and the bottom. He's got a grip hand he doesn't need, and one fist hand. I would have taken another fist hand, considering you could put the batarang in those other hands we looked at earlier. He's got a torso joint, but, you know, God forbid you can do anything useful with it, because it's a swivel for the most part. A loose, kind of floppy swivel with that. It's just not that great at all. He's got a waist twist. That's fine, I guess. There you go. It does rotate there. His legs kick forward and back, out to the side, back down. He's got a little thigh quiver in there, and a decent amount of thigh cut. Double knee, kind of loose, but not terrible. It does lock into place. You gotta kind of bend it one notch in order to get him to stand, though. And then he's got floppy ankles, like all the figures that utilize his body. They're not tight enough, and they're too freaking small for these legs and feet. I think the feet and the legs are proportioned okay. Maybe they could be better, but these ankle joints are too freaking small. These feel like they should be on like a Nightwing figure. They're too small. That's why they're loose, you know? It is what it is. And then he's got the rocker toe joint. On that side, it's pretty decent. What about this one? Toe joints aren't crap on him. He's actually got decent toe joints, but man, I wanted to like this figure. I really do. I like it more than I thought I would, if I'm being honest, but it still freaking sucks. It still sucks. It's on the crappy body. And it just, the crappy body shows. It really shows. It's too tall. It's too restricted compared to, like, this Spawn is less restricted, and he's got a bigger cape. And that's bananas to me. It's freaking bananas. So, you know, the Spawn, if I was to do a rating here, it gets like a freaking 15 out of 10. Other than that gauntlet being painted, there's nothing wrong with that figure. Other than maybe some more accessories, but, you know, I have plenty I could give him. But for $50, this Batman should have sucked way less. Could have at least had 2 fist hands, for crying out loud, and a head sculpt that didn't look like crap. I don't know, I don't like the head sculpt. I think it's ridiculous. He looks like a freaking vintage Ninja Turtle, for crying out loud. And I've seen better from McFarlane Toys and just about anybody at this point, so there's no excuse for that, man. It's like the amount of incompetence that went into that Batman is astounding to me. How did that get approved? Look, he's taller than Spawn. Read any comic with these two in it, or Google any image with these two in it. You don't even have to read. Spawn is like, what, 7 foot? Batman's like 6? It's like flipped here. It's freaking weird. That said, rant's over. That's this 2-pack in a nutshell. But before we wrap this up, we gotta bring in these two. Oh, to hell with your mace, man. That thing irritates me sometimes. I'm not gonna take out my rage on Batman on Brother Mandibulus, because he's a regular of the channel and the channel mascot still. But his freaking mace needs to stay together sometimes. You know, that'd be helpful. We have the infamous 11 Spawn right there, off cam, because Spawn's cape's kind of big. But let me actually plug that back in and put him back. There you go, buddy. Sorry, I almost snapped at you. You didn't do anything wrong. You kind of did, but Batman sucks more than you do. So there you are with the 2 regulars, because it wouldn't be one of my videos without them. So with that being said, let's now wrap up this dumpster fire of a review with some final thoughts. Overall, and aside from the fact that I've never felt so torn on a 2-pack ever in my entire life, this is still the best Spawn figure I think I own, and I have the 11 Spawn. I have multiples of that one. I have the 10th anniversary Spawn. I got the Throne Spawn. I got the Kickstarter Spawn. I really like this new one in this 2-pack, but unfortunately, what's holding him back from potentially even landing a spot on my top action figures of 2023 video, is this godforsaken Batman on this godforsaken Year 2 body. Why? Just why? That's all I gotta say about that. I'm not gonna repeat myself. All I'm gonna say is why. And for $50, again, I would have thrown out this card stand thing and hit Spawn's gauntlet and Batman's gloves with the needed paint apps. B, maybe a hamburger head sculpt for Spawn, since we do not technically have one of those in this line. And if you have the Throne Spawn, you know that the back of the box shows him with that particular head sculpt. Or the artwork anyways shows him with that particular head design, portrait, whatever you want to call it. And C, maybe, just maybe, because of the way it looks like it's put together, or could be put together, swappable faces for Batman. One that's, you know, kind of PO'd looking, like this one, although it does look, again, like a vintage Ninja Turtle figure. And one that's just kind of stoic. Because I think this Batman design is pretty cool. I like the big fins on the gloves. I like the long ears, even though I prefer the ears to kind of point forward like the Arkham games and stuff. I don't mind them pointing back like that. Although it's not a very common thing, is it? Also, I like the little Spawn points on his cape, even though it's thick as crap and hard as crap. Particularly petrified dino crap. That is easily the most ridiculous cape in the DC Multiverse line. You can't do anything with it. I don't know why it's like that either. We've gotten softer capes. Watch my Vampire Superman review from the other day. His cape was much softer than that and still pretty thick. The Spawn cape is a lot more flexible than that. And it's in the same set. Like, literally, there's inconsistencies within the same box. So, the Spawn, again, if I was rating these, 15 out of 10. The Gauntlet thing didn't bug me that much the first time. It's not really excusable the second time, but I can look past it because, god dang it, that thing's amazing. I mean, just look at him standing there with that sword on his shoulder. You didn't even get the sword on his shoulder. Look at that. I didn't think it could be done. Totally can be. I'm not crazy about the sword design, but it's fine for what it is. Maybe some fist hands for him would have been nice too, but, you know, his hands aren't just a solid color like Batman's. But it's like that. Spawn, easy, 15 out of 10. Batman, negative 15 out of 10. I'm sick of this body. Please, for the love of all that is holy on this godforsaken planet we're forced to live on, quit using this body. It sucks, it's crap, it's garbage, it's trash. Throw it off a cliff, throw it out a window, throw it in the nearest river to your base of operations. Be gone with this body. It is the new Hyperion, people. It is the new Hyperion. It might not look as bad, but god dang it, it's got too many issues. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this review, for what it's worth. And until next time, I will catch you guys later.